Yes, yes. Good morning. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. Summertime. How are y'all? Doing okay? You outside, ain't you? A lot going on. A lot of events you're able to go to now. Get together. Keep your mask with you though. COVID still lurking around a little bit, they say, but still move about. But as you move about, man, maybe we can move about with a little more love in these here streets. There's a lot of angry people walking around right now. A lot of unstable people, talking to each other crazy. You go in the store and the clerk is snapping at you, and people are. It's just like people are on edge. It's been a rough couple of years for everybody, and I think these times have caused the worst in a lot of people to come out, while on the other hand, it definitely has caused the best to come out of people. In the face of adversity, your best comes out. But as we evolve as a community, we say, love's in need of love today. Black love, nation building out here. We're evolving, we're pivoting, we're re examining who we are, actually, how we are in this United States. We notice there's a lot of strife going on out here. On the extreme hand, people are, mass shootings and attacks and all of that. On the other end of that scale is just the strife of everyday relationships falling apart, or just our everyday interactions bring an intensity that doesn't need to be. So we say love's in need today. Love's in need of love today. That's the song. I was having this brief conversation with a good friend of mine, Brother Joe Jones, promoter extraordinaire, author, all around good brother. And that's what led to today's conversation. He's having this event that's kind of, cutting edge. He's doing music and, all that kind of stuff, but panel discussion about, right, relationships and love being in need of love today. That's what's up, Let's bring him in. He's got his coffee with us, knocking on our door here. Joe Jones. Good morning, sir. Uh-oh, you gotta unmute yourself. Is that on me? Let me see if I can do it from here.
Oh, let me see here.
There you
Oh,
are. All
okay. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Is that
sir.
better? Is that better?
That's better. Good to
All
see
right.
you today, sir.
Good to see you. Good morning, man. Good morning.
Good morning. Man,
Yeah.
Joe's a lot going on out in these here streets. People mad.
Man. Oh, it's rough out here, baby.
Yes,
And
sir.
I kind of marvel at all these shootings, man. And we got guys shooting up masses of people and walking away from it, and brothers getting traffic stops and getting killed. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Well,
You know?
I think the country is showing you, where
Yeah,
we stand in the whole deal. And so it requires now a re-examination of our mind and our interactions as a
yeah,
community, not only in our local communities here in America, but across the globe.
yeah,
How do we interact as a diaspora?
yeah, yeah. I
But
get you.
love is at the center of it, man. We were in, Ghana in December, and we had visited the slave market, and the guide was talking about how they inflicted so much pain on our people, but no other people on earth could probably withstand this pain, but we
Yeah,
returned that favor with love. And he says,
exactly.
why? Because love is in our personality.
Yeah,
you know
that's
that's
right.
deep, right?
That's right. It's real stuff there, man. Real
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. So shoot, then. So why are we mad at each other out here?
I don't know, man. I guess hey, man, financial struggles, relationship struggles. People just can't figure it out, and they see other people striving and thriving, and it probably upsets people. I don't know why, but we got to get to the bottom of it. I know that.
Yeah, yeah, you got to change our thinking, change our hearts amongst each other. That's for sure, man. And you're right. It's like, doggone it, man. We don't need to be fighting so much and wondering what Joe Blow has. You just got to keep our eye on our ball and keep striving and keep
Yeah,
pivoting out here in these here streets.
that's right. That's right.
Well, let's get into it. First of all, you were we were having this little profound. It was short, but it was very a profound conversation.
Yeah.
About this stuff is how there's a lot of people are on edge in our community, and relationships are falling apart and everything like that. And then
Yeah.
you have an event, and the objective of that is to illuminate this. And well, you tell me about it. What's the relationship extravaganza all about?
Well, let's face it. We obviously have, in terms of what's going on in the news and what's going on online, we've had a lot of situations come about that tell us about relationships that had to do with relationships. We had a person get slapped at the Oscars. Never heard of before in life. Okay, behind a relationship. And we have a gentleman who was online discussing relationship stuff, and he had some women very, very upset with him because of the nature of the conversations and the things that he talked about. But I think the women don't realize that he talked about everybody like that. I mean, he did men, he did women, he did everybody. But at the end of the day, I think he had a purpose. Rest in peace, the gentleman Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
And then we had a lot of other issues, as Monique and DL. We got the dynamic of men and women relationship, the issues that come about it, the drama that comes about. So many relationships in the Black community end up in divorce. We have so many different issues as it pertains to the LBGT community, and people not understanding what other people have going on in their lives, but they want you to understand what's going on in yours. So the reality is that I just decided that what, when that situation happened, I felt all the hatred and the negativity. So I said, we got to talk about this. I want to put something together where grown men and women can get together and have a true heart-to-heart conversation as it pertains to love and relationships, family, cheating, marriage, everything related to relationships, anything that you can think of. Anybody who comes to the venue, you have your opportunity to express yourself in a public forum. And we're going to answer some questions. We're going to have some conversations with some real people. I have doctors on staff. I have preachers. I have pastors on the staff. I have very single people that are out there living their lives. I have married couples. I have all types of people that we can draw from and get information as it pertains to relationships. And all I'm doing is pulling it all together. And then after that, we're going to have loose ends doing all of their hits. We're going to have Casey Veggies doing all of his hits. And then I'm going to be introducing a new group called the Womack Sisters. These are some very beautiful young ladies. They're actually Bobby Womack's granddaughters, the
Wow.
legendary Bobby Womack's granddaughters.
Wow.
So it's going to be crazy. It's hosted by a young lady, an actress, Brittany Lucio. She's acting on all kind of stuff right now. Hosted by Ade Lamar with KGLH, and it's also hosted by the craziest, funniest guy you've ever. You all know him because he was Joanna Man.
Oh, wow.
Miguel
Miguel
Nunez,
Nunez.
Miguel Nunez Jr. And Joanna Man. He was on Life. He's been on all kind of movies. The dude is crazy, and he has a very, very serious take on relationship stuff. And everybody that's on our panel, which is comprised of really good people in our community, really intelligent people who have experienced all different types of circumstances as it pertains to relationships, children, family, you name it. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to the nitty gritty, because a lot of times you think your situation is bad. and you don't realize that somebody's got it way worse than you. You know what I mean? So we're gonna sit down face to face. We're gonna have a heart to heart. It might get a little volatile, but ain't gonna be no disrespect. I'm not gonna have that. You know what I mean? We're gonna definitely treat each other with love and respect, and have a conversation that must be had. They say men are from Venus, men are from Mars. I don't know if my baby might have it backwards, but at the end of the day, after this night, we're gonna have a better understanding.
It's funny for all of the Bible readers out there, and I always think about this sometimes when I look at the friction that is developing and growing between black men and women, or men and women in general, right? And so, the Bible speaks of, the Garden of Eden, and they ate the apple, and the Lord came in and asked, "Why did you eat the apple, or eat the fruit of the tree?" And the punishment was enmity. So a lot of theologians still enmity between man and woman. And a lot of theologians still to this day try to figure out, well, okay, what does that mean? What was the punishment for eating of the tree of life? And there's one, I can't remember his name, but there was one theological paper that I read that was really, really profound. And he was saying that enmity that God punished Adam and Eve with is this friction that we see between men and women.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is kind of deep.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Well, what do you think it is? Why are sisters so angry at us?
Um, I mean, I guess if you revert back, there was a point in time where, uh, we as a black family and a black unit, we had a certain structure, so to
Mm,
speak. I think, women knew that the man was the man of the house, and grandma and grandpa, we all knew who was in charge. We knew that that grandma took care of the house and make sure everything was okay, and the kids who came up under them, that they did what they were supposed to do. That everybody kind of had their place. And I think nowadays, with so many black men being taken from the home, and so many of the issues that are happening these days, you have a lot of women, I guess, feeling like they're having to fend for themselves, and they're having to, raise the kids a lot of times by themselves, or they just simply are kind of getting to a point in place of being, feeling like they don't necessarily need a man, so to speak. But when it's all said and done, we all need each other, and we can't get past that reality.
mm. I agree with that part there. I think we need each other. I often see, debates between black men and women, and I feel like, we want these traditional roles, the type of roles the woman and the man had in the household back in my parents' days, but I don't think it works like that anymore.
Nah,
The
nah,
society has changed, the financial
exactly.
dynamics in which we
Women are
live has
making a
changed.
lot of money. Women are making a lot of money these days. I mean, they feel like it's still unequal, but the reality is that women are out there able to fend for themselves at this point in terms of being able to be financially secure. So, if you figure I can take care of myself, if I'm financially able to take care of myself, and I have a man who may not even be working or whatever the case, then you kind of get to a point place where maybe, hey, I don't have to deal with that anymore. You know what I mean?
Are some brothers taking advantage of our sisters though? Because I know I've been in circles of the brotherhood where some
Uh,
cats are like, they try to let their woman take care of them. Why can't you take
uh,
care of each other? Is what I think.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it honestly, it's really sad, but I think that, there are those brothers of us who are grinders and hustlers, and we're going to always find a way to eat. We're going to always be on point and make sure that we're able to take care of our families and able to do whatever we need to do. But then there's a whole nother culture of men out there that's walking the streets, that's either has a felony, they either have something going on that either prohibits them from getting a job in terms of the issues that they have, or else it's the mental thing of thinking, I don't want to work. You know what I mean? So if you're not working, it's very difficult to be the man of the house if you don't have an income, if you're not able to take care of your family. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's really, really something I remember. Um, Back in the day, there was a conversation on this show called Soul. You guys might want to Google that. It came on public television back in the day, pre-Soul Train. It's a conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin,
Wow.
and she's talking about the the chasm between black men and women, and she's explaining to James that yes, the brother is going out there and he's faced with all of this prejudice and discrimination and racism and brutality, thus and so, all the things that we deal with being black in America. But then she's saying we come home and we take it out on our women. And so she's asking him, begging him, why is that? And, the brother should stop that. I'm gonna try to find that video before we're done today. Here, Joe, I'm gonna pull it
Okay.
up
Okay.
so we can see it. It's a really profound piece of
Yeah.
conversation between two prominent intellectuals and literary superstars.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Now, what
Yeah.
about the coming generation? I mean, I think, I love music, and I try to refrain from dissing music that I hear. I try to listen closely to the new music that's out there. But when the brother comes down the street with his boombox, like we used to do, you know, that music is pornography.
Yeah. Nowadays. Yeah. Well, it's really sad. In our society, people tend to, veer towards what everybody else is doing, so to
Mhm,
speak. And people are taking advantage of the reality that sex sells,
mhm,
sex appeal sells. People are caught up into the materialistic side of things in terms of just wanting to gloat and talk about what they have and this, that, and the other. And I think a lot of times that comes from so many years of not having. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So here it is now. You finally get something, and then now you want to boast and brag about it because let's face it, in the community, in the neighborhood, there was only so many people that were getting out in terms of becoming successful.
mhm, mhm.
So once you become successful, then now you kind of feel a sense of I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna tell people what I got. I'm gonna talk about what I have, and then you got all this negative material, talking about women, talking about sex, talking about this, that, and the other, and women are even doing it to themselves.
Mhm.
So how can they be so hard on men who do it? Because a lot of the women I see that are out there, they're saying the same things about themselves.
Mhm.
They do the same. They talk about themselves just as
Just as
well as
bad.
men
I
do.
do see that, Joe. I do see that, and it's interesting. You know, as I get older, maybe it is my age, but I do, like I said earlier, I do try to keep my mind open. Just having a long career in the industry, I try to refrain from judging today's music. But when I look at, say, the award shows, okay, this past one, the BET Awards, the big buzz was the young woman Chloe, who used to be
Hmm.
Chloe and Holly. When they were preteens, they were YouTube stars, and that's how they blew up.
Yeah.
And so now, they're grown now, and so Chloe has a new record, and she performed it, and it was very sexual
Mm.
in nature. The
Yeah.
performance, what
Yeah.
she was singing about, the suggestiveness, that clothes she wore. Okay, sex sells. Got it. Check.
Yeah.
But in this day and time, what I also observed in that performance, in these days and time, the sisterhood is standing up for themselves. I mean, you see, man, women coming out of the woodwork talking about they got drugged back in the day and people catching
Yeah.
cases, and
Yeah.
men are this and
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's just really,
Yeah.
really a trip. Women's rights is at the forefront of
Well.
our consciousness.
Yeah.
But in this performance, Chloe was clearly sexually subservient to
Mhm.
a man that she put on stage, sat in a chair, and she's doing all this, all the
Yeah.
sexual stuff around him and everything. And I
Yeah.
just thought it was kind of an oxymoron from the national narrative that women
Yeah.
are advancing to now. Like, it's to your point. I mean, they're saying stuff about themselves
Yeah.
that um,
Mhm.
that they're self-denigrating. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the unfortunate reality, to all the Me Too and
Mhm.
this, that, and the other, and it's money motivated a lot of times.
Mhm.
And I would not dare sit here and discount a person who was actually a victim, who experienced some sense of disrespect, or
Mhm.
an overly aggressive man who may have sexually battered her, or whatever the case, or raped, or whatever. I don't discount that at all, and I
Mhm.
think any victim of that, and any man who partakes in that, should pay. He should have to pay for it. But we know the reality and the unfairness to a person can say, hey, this person did this and it didn't even happen, but then now they're going to investigate it and go through all the processes of trying to figure it out. And it could have possibly not even happened because it's one person's word against another, So, you know, if they're wrong and they need to pay the price for what they do. But
Mhm.
the unfortunate is people are opportunistic and people will do whatever they got to do to get some money sometimes.
Mhm.
I'm an absolute perfect. I used to I had a business, I had a restaurant, and I had a person who worked in my restaurant who I used to actually allow this employee to bring her children, and because she didn't have she couldn't get the babysitter at certain
Mhm.
times, so I
Mhm.
would allow her to let her kids sit in my lobby and would feed them for 2 hours each day,
Mhm.
pretty much, and looked out for this young lady, right?
Mhm.
So here it is. I guess she finds out that, okay, if I don't take lunch, then I can go to the board, and I can, do the labor board, and I can get some money. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she figures out that she can go to the labor board and get some money. And the
Mhm.
same person that I did all of this for, that I looked out for this young lady, I took care of this young lady. She goes to the labor board and sues me for some money. So
Mhm.
it's just sometimes things are just, they're money motivated, and
Mhm.
it's just sad, but that sometimes the things that people have to go through and the measures that people have to go to survive is it's sad.
That's really interesting. Is a good illustration. I mean, sometimes having a black-owned business, those are the types of things that, as an employer, you stretch out, and
Yeah,
go above and beyond. And to hear
yeah.
that you got litigated behind that is kind of crazy. I know at KJLH, I got to give props to Stevie. So now that you bring that up, there are several children out there that were raised under the radio station. I know when I
Yeah,
got custody of my grandsons, the twins were raised right
yeah,
there at the radio
yeah,
station. They were helping us with tents and coming in there
yeah,
and doing their homework. They had a little spot
yeah,
inside the station. I know
yeah,
several, like Stasia Robinson. Uh, I could
yeah,
start there. There's at least 10 children that were
yeah,
raised in that radio station, and it was because the benevolence of ownership, Stevie Wonder, and the management, Karen Slade, and everybody's like, okay, look, we know it's rough out. You know, they
yeah,
were family oriented.
yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Mhm. Wow,
Yeah.
there it is. Well, I think this is I think it's this one I'm about to play is the video that I was talking about. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but the name of this is Faking Love, and it is
Hmm.
a conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. And I do believe that this one is spot on to um, what we, let me just grab it, spot on to what we're talking about. And it's an old conversation. This is back in the 60s or early 70s. Brothers
Wow.
and sisters are having this conversation. So let me just find it, get
Hmm.
it queued up here, and I'm going to play it for y'all.
Sounds good.
Yes,
In the
sir.
meantime, where is the love?
Where is the love?
July 16th, a
Mhm.
concert and a conversation. Come on out. The Miracle Theater in Inglewood. Come on out.
Yeah. So that's the name of it. Where is the love?
Where's the love? We're
Mhm.
trying to figure it out and find out where it is again. We got to get back to it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's the miracleinglewood.com if you want to go get tickets.
Really great facility, a hidden gem right there. I think that's 226 South Market Street.
Yeah.
And it used to be the X-rated theater back in the day.
Oh man.
And that
Wow.
facility has been so it was way back in the day. The oh gosh, I think it was I want to say AMC, no, United Artists Theater. So
Okay.
you back in the 50s, you went to the movies there.
Okay.
Then it changed into like the Pussycat Theater, so X-rated movies in there for many many years. Then it
Uh-huh.
sat vacant for many many years,
Yeah.
and then it became a church. And then
Mm.
after the church, it sat vacant again.
Mm.
And my good friend Owen Smith and his wife Mai purchased it,
Yeah.
and they've done some great things to renovate that
Yeah,
place. And
it's
it's
really nice.
emerging as a really great arts and culture facility. And we thank them so much as they step into Inglewood and make it happen for it.
Oh, it's
Great
a
place.
nice place. Nice place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think this is it right here. Make sure I've got sound. Yes, Joe, this is good now. I mean, I'm really surprised, I guess, sort of. I don't know why, but just kind of surprised, you came up with this. I mean, and it comes from such a deep space. I mean, these are, I can see out here making social observations, and you say, you know what, let me put together an event to bring the people
Well,
together to try
yeah.
to,
Well,
bring some love.
Greg for years, and I'm still going to be doing it. I have a show that I produced called the Love Jones Live,
Uh,
where I did live music,
mhm.
poetry, and comedy based on relationship material.
Wow.
So I've been doing that show for years, and then I also did a show similar to exactly the show that we're getting ready to do, but it was just on a much smaller scale.
Hmm.
So this thing here, it's going to be big. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's always been about love for me. It's always been about the community. It's always been about my friends and folks out in the community and introducing them to things that were different. And I know that within me is I like to share and I like to give love to people and I like to have positive thoughts and vibes and spirit. So I just know the state we're at right now, and we definitely need to have this conversation. So here it is.
Hmm. Hmm. Having a bit of a problem here. So I'm gonna do this at the end. I'm gonna play this at the end of the
Yeah,
show
no
for
problem,
y'all.
no
So
problem.
y'all do that. Joe, as we look across, Southern California, LA, Inglewood, Compton, Long Beach, our area out here, the promoters, man, it's legendaries. I mean, you count yourself among those legendary promoters in the city. And who's your mentor? Who do you look up to? Who do you, as you look across that space, who the man
Well,
or who the woman?
well, what I would say right off the bat. I mean, when I was a 13-year-old young buck, right, going to Crenshaw High
Mhm,
School, there
mhm,
was a dude that used to come up to the school and he would DJ the events for like lunchtime and different stuff like that. So he would drive this TR6 and he had a crate of records on the back of his TR6 and he would come up in there and the dude was fly, he was real cool, and his name was Rockin' Rollin' at that time. He was a DJ, and he ended up being Roland Work. So
my friend, rest in
rest in
peace.
peace, man. I love
Oh,
so honestly speaking, rolling with the Golden Tail, with Speakeasy and all the different
mhm,
clubs that he was doing. I was a young buck, sneaking in. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So I had an opportunity to be introduced to the nightlife situation, mostly through Roland. And
mhm,
of course, when I started doing it, I adopted my own style of doing things. But at the
mhm,
end of the day, he was the guy. He was my
mhm,
guy. He was the guy I would ask questions. He was the
mhm,
guy I would look to. As far as how I feel about who's really doing stuff that I respect now at this point, I like your guy Derek Pipkin is a
mhm,
beast. Your guys DJ T, He's bought restaurants, and he's done his thing with GS, and he's done his thing with the district. And like I said, Derek Pipkin has Pips, and he's been doing a lot of events going away. And my man Lonzo has been in the game forever. With all the stuff that he had at the Hollywood Park Casino and Eve After Dark. These guys have
Eve After Dark in the Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah, yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I was wondering, did anybody else notice that?
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah. So, man, it's just, there's a lot of people who've been in the game for a long time. You got your Philippe and Greg, Icon, and you got my guy Steve Gable, who was a beast, in this game. And there's just a lot of people,
Gaspard.
man. Mark Gaspard, absolutely, of course, and with Don Durbany,
right?
And you got, who is it? The guys Highland Jazz Society. Them dudes is monsters doing this promotional stuff, man. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that I have a lot of respect for, a lot of love for, and we all came up. Ernest and Marcus back in the day, they did their thing, and I have a lot of respect for these guys because we did it the hard way. We didn't have social media. We had to get out in the trenches and do our thing hand to hand. You know what I mean? So that's the respect, and those are the people that I truly respect. And there's some young guys that have come aboard. Like TNT, TG3. I'm sorry, TG3 Promotions. Those guys have come up, and they're doing their thing for some young cats. They're doing their thing. So it's just a lot of people I have a lot of love and respect for, and I appreciate what they're doing. I got a lot of people that people don't realize how many people are promoting these days that came through Versatile Productions. I put on a lot of people in the game, and I'm just, hey, I just love it, man. It's just,
right.
We got a city where, nightlife and entertainment is relevant. People like to get out. They like to go and partake and get cute and sexy and handsome and put their nowadays get their cigars in their mouths with their big old beards, and
right.
You know what I'm saying? And the ladies like to, wear their little sexy stuff, So it is what it is. I think I've kind of elevated to a point and place of really wanting to do the music, wanting to do things that are uplifting and enriching. And then, I love the live music scene. So as far as like the party stuff, I can take it or leave it. I did that. I started that Taco Tuesday that's at the Regency West right now. I'm the one that started that, and that thing is still going on 7 years, 7 years later. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And, but like I said, you get past things that you've done, and you always want to kind of elevate to higher levels and try to challenge yourself to be bigger and better than you had been in the past.
Right. It's about growth. You end up growing and doing, different things. You take your body of work and elevate.
Yeah, exactly.
Same here. I mean, just being a radio person now to run my own media company and growing and evolving in that space.
Yeah.
We may not be at that job you knew me for, but we're certainly making a difference.
That's right.
In the space that we're in now.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Wow. Greatest DJ of all time?
Wow. You know what? I can't give it to one.
Right.
I can't give it to one. What I will say is that, in terms of going out and, people giving you the vibe that you need to feel and rocking the party, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at my boys General Lee and Fred Lowe back in the day.
Yeah.
DJ T was a beast. DJ Paradise was a beast.
Yeah.
DJ Reg was a beast.
Yes.
DJ Reg. Yes. DJ Sidney Thompson was a beast.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna miss somebody, and I hope nobody be pissed off at me because I love all
you
right.
Guys. We do. That was a loaded question anyway.
And you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna keep it 100. They know who I am. You know what I mean?
Right.
They know I'm gonna tell it like it is. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I actually, some of those guys, man, they got bad attitudes. A couple of them, but I love them to death. Right. We argue like brothers, and we fight, and then we come back and we get together, we make stuff happen. Oh yeah, one more, my boy DJ Twin's been putting it down for
the DJ
years.
Twin, yes.
Been putting it down for years. And what's amazing, right? So my MC from back in the day, his name is it's Reggie Tate, but he goes by LA Reg right now. So he is the sound guy for the city now. Wow. He's basically doing sound all over the city. He's damn near taking over the market. I mean, he's doing really well with sound. And we have some really talented people, man. Some cats that have been really putting it down for years. You know what I mean? So, I'm proud to be a part of all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Isn't it a wonderful life, man? Being able to do some stuff, be a part, and see the things that these eyes have seen.
Exactly, man. Exactly. It's been.
So now let me ask you. You a former police officer.
Yeah.
You wrote a book. About your adventures in that space. And when you look at these mass shootings and the whole discussion about firearms and gun safety, and now to be honest with you, when we do go out to these public spaces, when we do go to the club or to the event or to the festival, I mean, it's in the back of our mind, man. Something could pop off at any moment here. How do we minimize and just stop all this hate through shooting?
Well, you know what the sad part about it is that we could talk all the gun regulatory things that we want, but the reality is, if you're a criminal, you're gonna find a way to get some guns. You're gonna get some guns. And then now we have, it's either you got the police are the only ones with guns, and they're shooting us. They're shooting us just like other people in the community are shooting at us. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not going to be the advocate to say that all police are just going around shooting at people. The reality is that there are some bad apples, absolutely, and then there's some people who go out and do that job with a lot of passion and care and consideration for the community they serve. But the unfortunate reality is that you got. You can take guns away. You can take away from the good people. Then now you're gonna have the bad people out there with guns, and then nobody can do anything to them when they start doing what they do. I damn near say it should almost, in a crazy kind of way. When you have everybody who had a gun. Let's say you legalize guns, and you say, hey, everybody can have a gun. Now somebody's not gonna be so quick to pull out a gun, knowing the possibility that somebody else can be standing right next to you and have a gun too. You know what I mean? So it's sad that there's either good people or there's bad people, but I just say that unless you just say, hey, you know what? At this point in life, everybody's got to get rid of their guns. If you have a gun, no matter who you are, if you're found with a gun, you go to prison for 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? If everybody gets their guns taken from them, right, then, hey, it is what it is. But like I said, once again, there's going to be some people that's going to have some guns. You know what I mean? But we got to figure something out.
You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to you, but I'm saying, oh, no, Joe, I got to protect myself now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, of course, you talking to somebody who got a few things over here, so don't get it twisted, you know what I'm saying? But my thing to you is the knuckleheads got them, you know what I mean? We got to get them out of their hands. They're the ones that's killing people. They're the ones that's, you got these young kids going buying guns and shooting up, a bunch of people, you know what I mean? We got to get the guns out of these crazy people's hands. And how do you do it? How do you know who's doing it?
Yeah.
Huh?
They're making them on the internet, designing them and making them ghost guns.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a scary thought out here, man. It's scary out here. You know what I mean? So, my thing is put your head on a swivel, you know what I mean, and take care of yourself and be smart and be thoughtful and mindful in terms of where you're going and what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, anybody can be a victim at any time, and it's just a sad state of affairs. And I think that it just goes back to, having your being prayed up and just living your life right and keeping your karma right and even sometimes, let's face it, you could be the greatest person in the world and the kindest person in the world and have more promise than anybody out there. And next thing you know, you're in front of a gun. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shout, and rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. A kid that was on his way to truly doing something positive in the community. I had an opportunity to talk to him. I met him through my son. My son introduced me to him, and man, I was sick, and this guy he introduced me. He told me he's going to take me to Dr. Sebi and to get me some medicine and do some stuff to help me. And he called me and checked on me. Man, that dude was good, man. That was a good young man, man. Yes, he was in the gangbanging life, but when you grow up in the community, and that's all that you see and that's all that's around, you're gonna be in that life. I could have easily been a gangbanger. I grew up with Mexican gangs and black gangs. I could have been anything I wanted to be, but God willing, I got introduced to sports, and I had a father that would whoop my ass. You know what I mean? I had a father he was a real man. He wasn't playing that. You know what I mean? So it kept me in pocket. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of that, it's just terrible, man. But it's just you just get the blessing is somehow making it out of there. You know what I mean? When you make it out of there, man, it's a blessing. It's just not guaranteed. It's a blessing.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
Oh,
I've seen and met so many people who have been in that life, but been the coolest and most generous people like ever, right? But I just in that life, and I too had a dad that didn't play. Willie Johnson was no joke. And that was a man's man too, military and his boys, all honorable men.
That's right.
Hardcore, right?
That's right. It's a blessing to come up with a good upbringing, man. That having that discipline and then knowing how to hustle. These kids these days is tough. I wonder where they're going because a lot of them don't even know. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to. They got the lazy gene. Everybody wants to peck on these games, and people are just not about the physicality of things as they used to be back in the day. We would be outside playing, outside. My father had me working. Okay, I used to work. There wasn't no coming home and just chilling, bro. You're coming home and you better hold these 2x4s and you better nail these. You better nail this stuff. Nail this sheetrock up against this wood. You know what I mean? So clean this trash up. You know what I mean? Hey, I was working, man. It wasn't all play for me. It wasn't all play for me. So, when these kids these days come up and they don't have that, they have to try to figure it out. They have to figure it out.
This disconnect of love that we're talking about, because I do notice, the young people, especially customer service, right? Sometimes they're just straight rude. It's like, wait, I'm here to spend my money.
The youngsters, the young men, the young women these days, it seems that their ability to have a decent conversation and not be angry it seems like a real serious challenge to the people these days. You know what I mean? So I really question, a lot of it is, we could talk about upbringing, but now we got to talk about the reality that if parents these days whooped a kid the way my parents whooped us, they'd be in prison. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people's hands are tied as it pertains to really raising children and raising kids the way they're supposed to be raised. I mean, it's like, what do you do? Go tell somebody who just stab somebody to go stand in the corner and take a time out? I mean, what do you do? You know what I mean? So it's just a real tricky place that we're in right now in terms of society and dealing with, the youth and the kids, and everybody's, like I said, angry. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on. What's up, Lloyd? Give me a minute.
A lot of anger in the world, right? And that's really, really something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lloyd, we over here. Jump on, man. Tap in.
Lloyd.
I just hear him. I don't know.
Oh, you hear him? Oh. Hey, Lloyd, call the station, boy. Call and ask a question.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good, good.
Hey, what'd you say?
You're promoting someone.
Yeah.
Somebody named Joe Jones is promoting someone on KJLA.
Oh, you heard the main Joe Jones on KJLH today?
Right, right. I was
Oh,
trying to see what you were up to.
okay, I'm talking to Greg J, one of the OGs from KGLH. I'm having a podcast with him right now, and we're discussing my show that's coming up this Saturday. The Where is the Love? A conversation and concert. So that's what we're doing. You need to come. You've been married a long time. You've raised a bunch of children. You're a great guy. You need to be at my show, man.
Well, call me when you get done, all right?
All right, I'm gonna call you when I get done. I'll hit you right back.
Okay, Joe.
All right, bro.
Yeah,
Love
thanks,
you.
man. Proud of you. Bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Lloyd said, I ain't got no news for you on this long marriage. I'm like,
that dude been married. That dude, matter of fact, he what's crazy is he's a retired lieutenant from the LAPD.
hmm.
We lived across the street from each other, and we also went to high school together.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's been married for 30 something years, man. Beautiful wife, beautiful family. Just really good people. You know what I mean? So and it's I guess he just heard a commercial on the radio or something. So he just hit me up to check in.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I heard it yesterday, and I heard
Uh,
Tammy Mack and them talking about the relationship there.
oh,
You should
really?
call Tammy. She did say she hadn't heard from me in a long time. You should give her a shout.
Oh, she did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna call her, man. I'm gonna hit her up. I'm gonna hit
Yeah,
her up.
yeah, yeah,
Cause
yeah, yeah.
she's a G, man. She's I like
Yeah,
she's
she's
bad.
she's she's the bomb. I was like,
She's
what you
bad.
know too? You got Day Lamar on there. That's
Yeah,
another. Oh man, I
yeah,
love a
she's a
day. That's
champion,
my
man. And
oh
Andre Russell was rocking with me. He was on the first show that I was doing, but then
man.
we changed the date. We all just decided to switch it up and put it further out. So Andre Russell wasn't available for the next one. But come on, KGLH is my people, man, and my
Yeah,
family. I
yeah.
love them. You know what I mean?
Good place. I was telling somebody, they asked me. I actually was talking to one of my former coworkers at KJLH, and they were asking me, if I missed it, and I don't. I am very happy being a business person,
Yeah,
and
that's what's
however,
up.
I will say that I treasure absolutely my time there. I
Yeah,
mean, I seen some stuff that I'm from San Diego, and a lot of times I'll just say, this kid from San Diego, dude, I'm rolling with Stevie Wonder, what, all over LA. I've been just all over the city,
I
and
went to college. I went to college in San Diego. I just wanted to throw that in. I went to
oh, where?
Yeah, I went to school. I was drafted professionally in baseball out of San Diego. So I went to San Diego. I went to Palomar College. Then I went to
Okay,
San Diego City College,
okay,
and then
yes.
that's where I was drafted professionally in baseball.
Well, when I came out of the Marine Corps, I was at San Diego City College for one semester, and I was on
Oh,
the radio station there. And
wow,
then I went over to San Diego State University, where I was on the radio station there. And
wow.
that's where I got 2 degrees out of San Diego State, and then came
That's
up
what's
to
up.
Los Angeles. Yeah.
That's where we played our home games at San
Wow.
Diego State, and then my cousin went to San Diego State, so I was there all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
So
because me and
high
him lived
school,
together. Yeah, we lived together. So he was going there while I was going to city.
and that's
And
something. Last week we had. I don't know if you remember. Um, do you remember 92 Star 5?
that was the
Before,
station.
uh-huh,
90 was
that's
it
before
90?
your time. That's
Oh,
before
I
your time.
probably do. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there 30,
Well,
40 years ago.
Willie Morrow just passed away, and
Okay.
that was the inventor of the Afro pick
Oh,
and the
okay.
California curl. He's from San Diego, big
Oh, okay.
business, black business icon, and he brought us
Wow.
our first black-owned radio station. It was 92 Star 5. The station still exists,
Wow.
but it's owned by a conglomerate now. But that was our first one, and so I had one of my homeboys from San Diego on last week to
Uh,
reminisce of Mr. Morrow and everything. And I don't know if you remember a singing group called Satisfaction.
no, I don't.
So that was so I used to do sound for
Oh,
Satisfaction, and
oh,
that's
okay.
actually how I got to Los Angeles. Was I was doing sound, and this engineer and really renowned producer Clarence McDonald came to scout Satisfaction, and he liked how I was doing sound. And so after the
Yeah.
show, they were like, "Oh, you need to move to LA." So I did. And the rest
That's
is
what's up.
history. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. Sounds
So,
good.
well, I'm really glad that you're doing this at the Miracle Theater. What's the date on it, Joe?
It's July 16th.
July
And we're going
16th.
to start it at 6 p.m. We're having a cocktail hour. You can come in and drink and have a cocktail and socialize prior to the show. So yeah, it'll be July 16th.
All right, July
That's a
16th.
Saturday night.
Saturday, July 16th. I think that's Nelson Mandela's birthday too, on that
Oh,
day, I
really?
believe. So
Wow,
hey,
wow.
yeah, but 226 South Market Street, the Miracle Theater. It's if you're going west on Manchester, make a left. If you're going east on Manchester, make a right. It's right there
Yeah.
across the street from Emma's. You eat at Emma's?
Yeah, the little sandwich place.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I ate there before. I don't do you know that there's like a new there's a new spot called the Nile Bar.
I heard about it. I haven't gone there.
I've been there, man. The place is really nice. They've done a good job with it. It's really a nice spot to go in and have a cocktail. They got some good little food in there. It's a cool spot. The Nile Bar. I rock with them. They good people.
And that's
too,
on
you know what I mean?
that's on
That's right across. It's directly across. It's right on Market, directly right next to Emma's. Actually,
Okay. Oh,
and
nice.
it's across the street from the Miracle Theater. So everything, Inglewood is thriving, man. You got my boy Jonathan DeVoe at the Wood. Is down the street. He's at the barbecue spot down the street. He's doing really well. You know what I'm saying?
Food Kitchen is doing
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Expand a little
So
bit
yeah,
again.
you got What is that? What is that? What Doolins, right?
Doing, yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. Come on now. People making it happen, man. I'm really excited about everybody being able to do their thing, and it's a blessing. And I'm asking everybody to come out and support what we're doing because we gotta fall in love again. We gotta fall in love again, man. It's just too much emphasis on materialistic stuff and not about the good old down wholehearted things. Just when you think about the music in terms of the music we listened to back in the day versus the music we listen to today being materialistic versus about love and relationships and all the things that are very, very relevant, that should be at the forefront of things. You know what I mean? So we just got to start talking again, man. And my plan is to do these on a regular basis. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to do these, and we're going to continue to have the dialogue. So there are a lot of young people who may not have the understanding that of these things. When you don't know, how can somebody hold you accountable for what you don't know? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have these conversations so people can know. You know what I mean? And then they can also go to my website, truthforchange.life. You'll see what I'm trying to do.
Get to that. We're gonna put
I'm sorry.
into the no. Say it again. I'm gonna put it in now.
Hey, go to my website, truthforchange.life, and you'll see that I'm truly about the community. I'm trying to I've developed a curriculum to teach our young Black men how to survive a hostile situation, as well as just interacting with the police. So we gotta stop some of these killings and these shootings of our young Black men. So I'm taking all young men, I'm taking young women as well, and I'm teaching people how to interact with law enforcement. I'm going to teach law enforcement how to interact with the Black community. We got to learn. And the only way we can fix things is that we have to get together, just like the men and women, the police, and the community have to talk, and we got to figure out the issues. And it's called Truth for Change. If you tell the truth, that's the only way you're going to get the change that you desire. So that's the whole premise of what I'm about at this point.
Is that spelled out, or is that the number 4?
It's truth, the number 4, change, .life. Truth4change.life.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat, y'all. .life.
Yeah, truthforchange.life. They actually can go to my events page. Go to my events page, and they can get tickets as well to the event.
All right, everything is there right there in the chat. We were talking about the city of Inglewood and how it's thriving now. And I do think, I moved out to Long Beach, but Inglewood is You know, it's all in my DNA. You know, but you know,
Yeah.
Inglewood and the Crenshaw community, Lambert Park,
Oh
South
yeah.
LA, you know.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's good to see that the locals, right? The home people. Well, yes, we have the Forum, we have the SoFi Stadium about to have the doggone Clippers over there, and everything
Yeah.
is changing, changing,
Oh
changing.
yeah.
Property values are going skyrocketing,
Crazy. Yeah.
and it's really, really crazy. But there has to be something for, you know, the locals, and I think that Market Street right there is really prime. And I'm glad to see you activating with Owen over there at the Miracle Theater. I'm glad to hear about the Nile Bar. I'm very, 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 very proud of Jonathan and the Wood over there, and my friend Terry Doolin over there with
Mhm.
the Soul Food Kitchen. I talk to Terry pretty often. He might be watching this morning. Terry, I am coming over there. We're due for a meeting and a get together. You know, we all went to Africa together.
Wow. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Greg
Wow.
Doolin and Terry Doolin. I went to
You
Africa with me,
you
and we
know,
had a
hey, you know all the big wheels in LA, man. I be watching you roll in the city, man. Everybody knows Greg J and loves Greg J, man. You always been a stand-up
oh,
cat, man. So that's a blessing, bro. You know.
man. Thank
That's
you
why
so
you were
much.
able to get away from that and go and do you. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
And sometimes, man, don't ever second guess the reality that you're elevating. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Pretty soon you're gonna have a whole radio station and TV station, and then you're gonna invite me over. You know what
Well, I
I'm
accept that. And actually, you know, that's interesting because that's kind of what we build in here in the digital space. But I do accept that. You know, when I joined the Marine Corps, Joe, I went in to learn electronics. I was a mechanic, a technician. I worked on fighter jets, and I wanted to learn electronics because I wanted to own radio stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm 17 years old. That was my plan. And on Facebook, I reunited with the brother who was like my best friend back in those days. You know, we 17, 18, 19 years old, but we young Marines. And he was from New York City, but from Panama. Big, about your height, you know,
Uh,
big muscular dude, Rupert
uh,
Beckford. I hope you're listening this morning. So we reunited on Facebook. That was my dog back in those days. We used to go get our suits together and all that stuff. And he sent me a picture of us walking through the base, and it's us, me, him, and a couple of the other brothers in our unit.
yeah.
What's so profound about the photo, Joe, is I got a radio.
You gotta. Is it a boom box? What is
It's a
it?
boombox.
Oh
And I
shit.
had a shoulder strap, and and I'm like, oh my goodness, look at that! Wow, prophetic.
That's funny.
And then my unit, they have a Facebook page, and so there's this white guy that was in my shop, and we used to always talk about. We became really good friends, and we used to always talk, you know, rocker dude. We used to always talk about I was going to have a van, and he was going to have his Harley, and we were going to tour the country together. That was our
Yeah.
thing. We never did it, of course, but
Yeah.
you know, he was. We were talking online, and he talked about how now, Joe, I had the baddest stereo on the whole base.
Oh really?
Okay, you carry them like the brothers will come
Hey,
from all over the
hey,
base.
was yours like Radio Raheem?
This one, I took up a whole stand-up locker because after I gone to overseas, I bought all this fancy, you know, gear. I had to reel and all that stuff, you know.
Uh-huh.
And my speakers was bumping. Everybody came over there,
Wow.
and Rorex was saying he remembers our stereo wars. And I used to all because the white dudes would always play their rock, and I was playing funkadelic. And I would kill them with my volume. You
Uh-huh.
know, that was just it. Always been a chief rocker.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, baby.
All right. Any last words for the people, sir?
First, hey, it's Joe Jones. I love
Joe
you. You know what I
Jones.
mean? I rock with you. I rock with everybody. And what I really would love to see is that people come out and support this event. I think that it has a great cause. My objective is healing, healing the community, and I think the only way we're going to heal and start having these real dialogues and spread the word in regards to some of how our young ladies are acting, how our young men are acting, how us adults are acting in relationships, and the things that we're doing that are self-defeating. We have to learn the love languages, and we have to learn how to interface with relationships. And what that's requiring is people to stop being so damn selfish. You know what I mean? Stop always thinking of self. Stop always thinking about materialistic things and get back to the values of the the Bible and the principles of love and respect and the things that make us all better people. We have so many people these days that's so caught up into what they have and what they can get and all that, where they're losing the whole sight of family and love and the principles that have to do with things that are about what's right. You know what I mean? So yeah, we gotta talk. So I just July 16th, Saturday, we're gonna talk. We're gonna have a great time. The music is gonna be off the chain,
Uh-oh.
and it's gonna be a whole lot of love in the room.
I don't know what happened to you, Joe. You went blank on me there. Hold on.
It said you unmuted. You muted me, man.
Well, Joe, we certainly will support that July 16th when we get over there. What, 6 o'clock? Is that what we
Yeah,
need to
6
do?
o'clock. Yeah.
I think you're muted there, Joe.
Let me see. Mute. I'm okay here. Now I'm
Well,
unmuted.
I
Can
don't
you
know
hear
what
me now?
happened. I'm not
Can you hear
muted
me
on
now?
that end, but I guess gonna tell you, July 16th. I guess we should get there. Give me a thumbs up at 6 p.m. We should get there for the cocktail hour. Yes,
Yeah,
okay, there
come
it is.
on.
July 16th, 226 South Market Street at the Miracle Theater. Let's do it. Let's go
That's right.
and embrace love. We say on here all the time. We always close the show with, an admonishment for the people to love one another. That's the main thing.
That's
Love
right.
one another. Love one another. Love one another. Peace and blessings.